back to Good Day. 50 years ago, it might not have even been thought of or possible. A woman behind the controls of an aircraft.
Now we're celebrating those who take to the skies for a profession or just plain fun. Franceus and Suzette Biela have the invitation for you to honor a local woman who did just that. Good morning, folks. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. So excited to be here. Thank you so much.
So this all got started, we're talking about with your wife, right?
Right. So yeah, this is really about Debbie Franceus. And Debbie Franceus, we started the Debbie Franceus Memorial Aviation Foundation to really honor her legacy as a female pilot and aviatrix. And aviatrix is, I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but it's really the term that describes a female pilot, but describes a female pilot in a greater way, somebody who really embraces everything aviation. So, Debbie passed on January 12th from breast cancer after a 10-month battle, very courageous. But prior to that, you know, she was a pilot, and for probably the last 45 years, she flew with me, right seat, as a right seat companion. And then after a while, later in life, she had enough questions from people at work. She worked for ProMedica, right here at the steam plant downtown.
Oh, wow.
She had just enough people saying, now, if something happened to your husband, would you be able to land the plane? And she, you know, kept answering, not really. So that prompted her to start flying, and so she actually got her license later in life, at quite frankly, at the age of 63.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and she worked full-time doing it, so, you know, she was really, you know, just an amazing woman. She was, her big thing was, she found that the rewards were greater if you stepped outside your comfort zone than if you lived within your comfort zone. And that was kind of her mantra.
Wow.
And so, you know, super proud of her and super proud of her accomplishments. She's a mother of 3, grandmother of 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so she, you know, she was a busy gal too, and a pilot to boot. The one thing that she saw was a deficit in female pilots. As she learned about aviation, she found that, you know, there's just not enough women pilots, and so I'm going to become one, and I'm going to encourage other women to become one as well. The first thing she did was join an organization, the International Organization of Women Pilots, called the 99s. And Suzette's here with me today because Suzette is a 99, and she's also was a fellow pilot, and more than that, she's a flight instructor. And so, can you talk a little bit about the 99s?
Yeah, so the 99s is a group of women pilots. It was founded back in 1929. Back in the day, they sent out an invitation to all the women pilots, and 99 responded and said, hey, we want to join this amazing organization. So they called themselves 99s. And founded by Amelia Earhart and Bessie Coleman and a lot of other wonderful women from back in the day. And it's a group that mentors other women in aviation. We have scholarships, we do all kinds of fun activities and just promote the fact that there's only 7% of pilots are women.
Wow.
And we're trying to get more, yeah, exactly. It's that incredible.
As a woman in science, I understand that there is that small amount.
That we can do it.
Yes. And does the scholarship really help to kind of push the limits and break that glass ceiling even?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and when we just threw that one number out, 7%, total, if you look at the United States, there's 750,000 pilots. That's commercial, private pilots, and so on and so forth. But quite frankly, only 9.5% of those are female, and that includes all the student pilots. Especially in 2022, there was a big thrust of new pilots coming on board because of all the retirements in the airline industry. So there was a need for that. But what you find that's interesting is that right now in the airlines, there's only 4.9% of the pilots are female. So the cockpits on the commercial airliners.
Right, my flight that I just took to North Dakota.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. So based on that, we decided, you know, we really need to do something here. And one of Debbie's wishes, and if she was here today, she'd be doing this work.
Sure.
You know? So I'm just doing what she really wanted us to do. But it was all about getting women that wanted to pursue their dreams in aviation the resources to do it. To your point.
And money is one of them, right?
And money is one of them because, yeah, quite frankly, it's not an easy road to becoming a pilot.
Yeah, I imagine it's expensive.
It is. And you know, throw numbers out. You know, the average pilot, I think, spends just to get the they're private, spends $10,000 to $12,000 minimum. So what we decided to do, and what I decided to do, is this first year, 2023, is I'm going to self-fund this, and so I'm ponying up, two $1,000 scholarships. And Suzette, I don't know if you have. This is just a little fun prop that we bought. Well,
upside down.
Somebody's, there we go. Somebody's going to get.
Somebody's going to get this.
Somebody's going to get this. We got two of these checks for $1,000. We plan on giving these on July 15th at the Toledo Suburban Airport. There's going to be an inaugural celebration, and we invited 7 different flight schools in Southeast Michigan and Northern Ohio, BGSU. Crosswinds Aviation, which is Eastern Michigan University, Skywalker Flying, Suburban Flight School, just to mention a few. And the whole idea now is to get money into people's hands, and we're not making this like super hard. I mean, you think about scholarships and scholarship applications. We're not going to have people bending over backwards. We're not going to be like asking for scholastic averages and all that stuff. What we want to do is we want to find people who are passionate about aviation, who meet the criteria, simple criteria, female.
That is important in this one, right?
We are saying, and that was one of Debbie's wishes, that we look at and try to get more females flying because of the numbers that I just shared. And the big thing is they have to have a current medical. They have to, in other words, be safe to fly medically. And again, passionate for aviation, and we want them to be a member of the 99s.
Okay.
So we want them to join that organization.
Good.
So the scholarship criteria, pretty simple, as I pointed out. Again, that's going to be the mission of the foundation, is to give money out. Now in 2023, it's already kind of a done deal. And what I mean by a done deal is on the 20th, yesterday, we closed the application process. So it was May 20th to June 20th, and now we have a nice handful of applicants. And so now there's kind of
you have a little time to go through them.
And the Memorial Foundation, and Suzette has a brochure as well, and I'll leave a couple for you all to see. It's a nonprofit, so it's a 501c3. And it has a board of directors, like an organization should. And that board of directors now, over the next 3 weeks, will take a look at those scholarship apps and then decide, who's going to get those.
This is really important work of bringing women into this and supporting them. So thank you so much for sharing Debbie's mission and also what was very passionate to her.
So the 15th, people can, what's going on the 15th, people can come out.
So I'm glad you brought it up. So on the 15th, there's going to be an inaugural celebration where we award the scholarship monies. There'll be a meet and greet for the applicants, flight instructors, and all the people that are involved in the actual foundation. And then from 1 to 2 will be the actual award ceremony. And then from noon to 3, there'll be a Warbird fly-in just to try and create some excitement at the airport. This will be at Toledo Suburban Airport over on Section Road. And then there'll be helicopter rides. We're planning on having a helicopter available for people to, get that feel for what that's going to be like, as well as a food truck and static displays of aircraft and military vehicles.
Wonderful.
So that'll be
Mark
really
that
great.
on your calendar. We can't wait to see who's going to, walk away with those big checks.
Yeah, very exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for coming today and for what you're doing in your wife's honor.
Thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it.